Welcome to the following program. I'm your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic, where tonight we have an Insta-Show. We all like, hey, where's the show? I didn't get no notice about the show. What happened about the show? I don't understand what's happening with the show. Insta-Show. That's what it is. It's an Insta-Show. Yeah. I was like, fine. Look, yesterday's show was actually reviewed by the esteemed Professor Margot Cleveland. It was reviewed by her and approved. Oh, she actually started following me after one of you fine people, I think it was Mary Coppola, I'm not sure, not exactly sure, mentioned to her that I covered her thread on the show, and yeah, she seemed pleased with my coverage. So that's always good. That's always good. Normally my introduction is a little longer than that. That brief little video of something like jujitsu. I know I was thinking about using this one. Maybe I should have. I'm not sure. I almost use this. This is what I almost use for the intro. I'll share with y'all.
People keep correcting me, telling me that it's Cybertruck and not Tesla truck. I don't fucking care. I don't care what it's called. I hate them. I need them off the streets. I need them off the road. I need them off the highway. I need them out of my town. I need them out of my country. Fuck. I'm so sick of them. I'm so sick of Tesla trucks. Cybertrucks. Fuck. People keep correcting me, telling me that.
I really appreciated that ending there. Her utter frustration. All right, so obviously we got to talk a little bit about the executive order from President Donald J. Trump today, where he said, "Afuera" to the Department of Education. Afuera, we're done with it. Ripped it off the board. Afuera. There's what that really means. Does that mean that there's $268 billion thrown back into our budget? What about all the starving children? What about all the children who need their breakfast and lunch and cookies? What about them? Are we going to be heartless to them? Answer is no. What about the disabled kids, special needs kids? There are special needs kids out there. They need special services. Perhaps states can't afford that. Are they going to be hanging in the lurch? No. We'll cover all that shortly. We're not even going to be losing them grants. Them grants are not going to be going anywhere. There's a couple other things I'd like to cover with you, because I said it's going to be about the death of the DOE. It's not really DOE, that's Department of Energy, but DOED is kind of weird to say. So this is this. I was like, I want to go around the news with you guys today. I really want to go around the news. That's what we're gonna be doing. We're going around the news. I guess I'll start with the Department of Education. I guess I'll start with. Let's start there. Let's just start there. Why not? Let's find this for you. Really good to me. That's not gonna be good. Can't have to watch that post. This time's gonna be any better. Okay. Well, let's start here. Let's see what we got. You're gonna give me an ad? You're gonna give me an ad. I knew you were gonna give me an ad. I knew it. Well, let's scroll down. Skip ad.
Today we take a very historic action that was 45 years in the making. In a few
Yes.
moments, I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of
Bye-bye.
Education once and for all. Pell Grant's supposed to be a very good program, Title I funding and resources for children with special disabilities and special needs. They're going to be preserved in full and redistributed to various other agencies and departments.
Specifically HHS.
But beyond these core necessities, my administration will take all lawful steps to shut down the department. We're going to shut it down and shut it down as quickly as possible. The teachers, to me, are among the most important people in this country, and we're going to take care of our teachers. And I don't care if they're in the union or not in the union. That doesn't matter. But we're going to take care of our teachers.
Good.
And I believe the states will take actually better care of them than they are taken care of right now.
That's the New York Times saying the agency cannot be closed without the approval from Congress. Really? 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 Is that really? But can it really not be closed? Is that really true? Is that really true? Because you can hack off pieces of it, and leave it like stuffed and bleeding. That's what you can do. Signing an executive order that said he would ban it. Oh God! President Trump on Thursday instructed Educational Secretary Linda McMahon to begin shutting down her agency, a task that cannot be completed without congressional approval. Yeah, it can be completely closed. That's okay. And sets the stage for a seismic political and legal battle over the federal government roles in the nation's schools, which it's never been a good role. It's never been a good look for us. It's not gone well for our students. Surrounded by school children seated at desks in the East Room of the White House, Mr. Trump signed that's Mr. President to you, New York Times, signed a long-awaited executive order that he said would begin dismantling this department once and for all. The Trump administration has cited poor test scores as a key justification for the move. It's rare to hear Erica Green. It's rare to hear Trump talk about teachers under the slam unions, but he gives them a shout out. Yeah, because they're not the union themselves. Teachers, to me, are one of the most important people in this country. We're going to take care of our teachers. I don't care if they're in union or not. That doesn't matter. Yeah, because the unions suck. The unions are terrible. The unions are a disaster. And yeah, I know. My father was in the teachers union. I know that. I know. He felt like, with the teachers union he was in 30 years ago is not the same teachers union of today. That's for sure. That's for sure. That's for sure. So yeah. Let's get this report for you. I got another report for you on this.
President Trump has signed an executive order that he says is aimed at closing the Department of Education.
I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education.
But it's a little bit more complicated than that. The
Tell us,
order does direct the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, to, quote, take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Department of Education and return
while ensuring the effective and uninterrupted delivery of services, programs, and benefits on which Americans rely. See, this is the left doesn't like highlighting that part that he's got. They don't point out, while ensuring the effective and uninterrupted delivery of services, programs, and benefits on which Americans rely. So we're going to close the department, but we're still going to make sure that which our American citizens need, we're going to still make sure they have it.
Education authority to the states. Now, closing the Department of Education does require an act of Congress, but President Trump can do
to be formally closed, probably, but to be excavated into a hulking shell, that he can do. That he can do.
A lot of other things to still make this department less robust than it was before. We've already seen the staff at the Department of Education cut nearly in half. And now the White House is saying that they're going to take resources away from the Department of Education and make it even smaller. The Education Department is only 4% of the federal budget.
How is that relevant? Wait, it's like until we actually go after the military, which is like 30% of our budget, until then, nothing matters. That's how you hack away. So it's only 4% of the federal budget. When with USAID, it's only 1% of the federal budget. Okay, well, so far we're at 5% that we've hacked away at. There you go. There you go. We're less than 2 months in. We're less than 2 months in. It's only 4% of the federal. It's like they think like this is like such a significant thing to throw in there.
Of the federal budget. The other thing is that as the president is saying that he's going to eliminate the Department of Education, the White House press secretary is saying, actually, this executive order doesn't mean that the Department of Education isn't going to do some big main functions.
Any critical functions of the department, such as that, will remain.
And what are those main functions? First, there's
Not that it's not going to be done by the Department of Education. That's the thing. It's going to be done by other departments. But Yamiche doesn't tell you that.
student loans, which is a big.
Maybe she was too busy drawing them eyebrows on. She sort of missed that part. Like her view of like the screen where she's supposed to be reading that was blocked because she was too busy with her magic marker there or something. I don't know.
Part of what the Department of Education does. The Department of Education is going to continue to deal with Title I. They're also going to continue to make sure that students who are disabled, that they get what.
So grants are still going to be coming out there. If you're a student, if you're getting student loans and grants, that's still coming. They're still handling that, but that's now going to be by the Department of Treasury.
They need, which is also a key function of the Department of Education. So while the Trump administration is saying that the department's going to be smaller, we really need to understand that some of the big functions of the department will continue, but it will continue with less resources.
No. You see, you're giving bad information. You're giving bad information here, Yamiche. It's not with less resources. So now we don't have enough. No, it's not. This is bad info. It's coming from a different source now. That's the point. We're trying to eradicate departments that are notorious for waste
and less staff.
Yeah. It's just a bad intel there. Also, if you're concerned about like school lunches and breakfasts and things of that nature, which I understand that a lot of American citizens likely rely on, that their kids will get fed in school. That never came from the Department of Education. That's from the Department of Agriculture. So, yeah. So all in all, good job. Get rid of the waste. Get rid of it. Military is only 13.3% of our budget, Joe, and there's 6 services. Really? This is what I'm saying. So it's only 4%. I thought it was a lot. I thought it was a more significant part. But yeah. I mean, the point is, you have to go after, as Joe says, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to go after one bite at a time. That's the only way to take down this animal. There's no other way to take it down. Yeah. So that was that. That was big. That's pretty much it. It's gone. All right. Great show, everyone. You should all celebrate. I could do a little bit more, I guess. I could do a little bit more. We'll stay a little longer. I want to share with you this, folks. This is important. Where was it? There it is. I found it. This is Agenda 47. So I saw one popular left-wing guy saying, they said they weren't doing Project 2025, but abolishing the Department of Education, that was Project 2025. They lied. MAGA lied when they said he wasn't doing Project 2025. No, he's actually just doing Agenda 47. There's going to be some overlap there. You see, there's some overlap. There's some there's some overlap there in some of the policies. Frankly, you never read Prop 2025, Project 2025. The left never read it. No one read Project 2025. I have no idea. Maybe Project 2025 is a complete ripoff of Agenda 47. But you say people didn't vote for this? This is what he had in Agenda 47. This is what he wrote. This has been there since long before the election. Rather than indoctrinating young people with inappropriate racial, sexual, and political matter, which is what we're doing now, our schools must be totally refocused, prepare our children to succeed in the world of work. President Trump believes that we owe our children great schools that lead to great jobs, which will lead to an even greater country than we're living in right now. To that end, President Trump will work to ensure that priority of every school is prepare students for jobs. In connection with totally refocusing schools on succeeding in the work, President Trump pledges to close Department of Education in Washington, D.C. and send all education work it needs back to the states. Pledges to close, do you see? Project 47. Agenda 47. Pledges to close the Department of Education. I'm going to make it bigger, Frank. Make sure everyone sees. Pledges to close the Department. How big? How can I make it? Pledges to close the Department of Education. Can we get bigger? That's as big as it gets. Pledges to close the Department of Education. Even without my glasses. Oh, look at that. Pledges to close the Department of Education. It's there, black and white. This is what he promised. Promises made, promises kept. God bless him. Will Congress close it? I don't know. Hopefully. Promises made, promises kept. That's our president. Whew. You want to know what else he promised in there? In that section of Agenda 47? Said President Trump supports the right of parents to know what their children are being taught in the classroom, to be able to openly communicate any of their concerns with teachers and principals, protect the privacy of their children, to be made aware of changing academic standards. He also wants to immediately reverse Joe Biden's barbaric gender-affirming care policies, to sign an executive order instructing every federal agency, including the Department of Education, to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age, declare any hospital or healthcare participates in chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicare or Medicaid. This is why we voted for him. This guy is doing everything we promised. When's the last time you saw a politician just be so aggressive in ensuring that everything that we asked of him, he's going out there working his tail off to get done? Every single thing. Unbelievable. Really, really unbelievable. Did you see what I sent on Twitter? I think I did. I have a vague recollection. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think he sent me something good. I might have even plucked it out. I may have plucked it out. Let me see. You've been sending it. Yes. I did see this. I did. You sent me some good stuff. We'll get to that. We'll get to that during the course of the show. We're going to get to that during the course of the show. Don't worry. Good things are coming. Good things are coming your way. All right. Do you need to know anything? Is there anything more to be said about the Department of Education being gone other than God bless Donald Trump and he's awesome? Ooh. You're so angry. You're so angry, so angry, so angry. If the problems were in Agenda 47, then they would have said, oh my God, he's going to implement Agenda 47. But they couldn't find anything wrong with Agenda 47. That was why they kept saying, Project 2025. Was that a winning strategy? Do you think that worked well? Was that a good strategy? Because everyone I heard said, Kamala, the one thing you can say is flawless campaign. And it was flawless. Everything about it was, oh, chef's kiss. Agenda 47 gave for Project 2025. I don't care if it came from Mein Kampf. What I care about is what does it say? What does it say? Does it espouse principles that I agree with? I don't care what it comes from. It can come from the Quran. I don't care. I don't care. I don't think anyone cares. All we care about is what is our final product here? Is this what we want? And the answer was a resounding yes, yes, yes. 77 million times. Yes. There you go. But the whining about it's Project 2025. I'm addressing specifically Brian Krasenstein, who I've had on this show, who was complaining, saying, oh, you said you're not going to do Agenda 47. You lied. And I'm like, no, it's right there in black and white in Project 40 and Agenda 47. He's doing what he said he would do. Just because there's overlap doesn't mean he's not going to do the parts that overlap. All right, let's move on. I don't know. Somehow I'm inspired to see this. I was checking the news and I was just like, I don't even know what this is talking about. Maybe we're going to figure this one out together. Look at this. The French government is set to distribute a comprehensive survival manual. The French government is sending its citizens a survival manual to every household by this summer. This booklet includes guidance on preparing for various emergencies like natural disasters, industrial accidents, nuclear leaks, and potential military conflicts. I can tell you the section that the French are teaching their citizens for potential military conflicts. Oh no! In case of if there's a military conflict, your job is do this. Sorry, that's a historical joke right there. Run as fast as you can. Run as fast as you can. Turn around and run. 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 That's what the idea. That's probably what they have in their little video guide for like in case of a military conflict. And they have a little clip of run, Forrest, run. That's what you got to do. I remember when I was a kid. This is how I'm about to date myself. I'm about to date myself like an acne-ridden teenager. I remember when I was a kid. We had a couple of times nuclear bomb survival practice drills. Nuclear attack survival drills. Yes, we did. Do you know what you're supposed to do in case of a nuclear attack? Yeah. You're supposed to get out calmly and efficiently, slide your chair backwards and climb under your desk. And yeah. Look, I guess it's better to have a populace that's prepared for any sort of disasters. God knows, Lord knows that France has been begging for God's wrath for a long time. So I guess preparing for natural disasters is probably a wise precaution if you're French. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, look, we've been poking God in the eye for a long time here. So maybe we should warn you on how to handle and what to do in the event of a natural disaster. They used to be so Christian. Oh my God, that country used to be so Christian. Going back hundreds of years. There's Joan of Arc. You want to go back 1,000 years? Joan of Arc. And look at that country now. They just abandoned all religion. So in a broader European context of escalating, this is amidst a broader European context of escalating security concerns. Justin, the EU says the EU must immediately prepare for a real possibility of a large-scale war with Russia. With Russia. It's like as soon as they hear that there's a ceasefire deal coming, no, we gotta start prepping for now. The war's been ongoing for 3 years. But I guess now that we're like actually like, stupidly kicking in billions of dollars along with the UK and trying to like escalate this conflagration, I said it right this time. Let's give our citizens what to do if a Ruski comes a knocking on your door. Viva the Christians! Unbelievable. Sad state of affairs. The EU wants to arm itself for a possible major war in Europe. Ursula von der Leyen's EU Commission no longer considers such a scenario to be out of the question. According to the EU Commission, the EU must immediately prepare for the real possibility of a large-scale war with Russia. Quote, history will not forgive us for inaction, warns the agency. Why are you taking political steps that escalate this for a country that is not, you don't even have, do they have a treaty with Ukraine that they have to defend them? Headed by Ursula von der Leyen in a new strategy paper on the future of European defense. If Russia achieves its goals in Ukraine, which I don't think they're going to achieve that anytime soon, the country will expand its territorial ambitions beyond that. That's not true. There's no reason to think that. There's literally zero indicator, zero evidence. I defy any human. I want to hear one person, besides saying what's his personality, I want you to show me one thing that happened that led you to conclude that Putin has designs anywhere beyond Ukraine. Anywhere beyond Ukraine. The year 2030 is mentioned as a possible time frame for this. Yeah, okay. Unbelievable. France is equipping its citizens with survival for emergencies, including natural disasters, pandemics, and war. However, it does not mention illegal migration. That's a good point, Christine, which has already claimed thousands of lives from Paris to Nice. As long as the EU does not close its borders, this remains the most immediate and pressing danger. That's not what they're talking about. You're saying NATO is done. Brian Ogden here. Some of you all are really kind, and I genuinely appreciate it. And you'll share with me clips like Job mentioned earlier. He shared me a clip. Brian shared me a clip from Glenn Beck. So I saw it, Brian, where he's basically breaking down the genesis of the conflict between Ukraine and Russia going back to 2008 when George W. Bush signed the American-Ukrainian Charter and first started getting us in bed with them and tracing historically the developments over time. I made it about 6 minutes into it. It's a long Glenn Beckian thing. I didn't get to the part where he explains why NATO, why we need to leave NATO. Frankly, I've been screaming that we should be leaving NATO for a while. Maybe he'll come up with something I hadn't thought of. You did. You missed it. You missed it. You're gonna have to go back. You gotta go back. It's not your fault. I understand. A lot of people didn't get notice that because I did a whole 5 minutes. We're doing an Insta-Show. We're doing an Insta-Show. Really, what happened was I was like, I'm so not in the mood. So not in the mood to do show prep. I'm totally okay with doing a show. I'm so not in the mood to do show prep today. So I know I'm going to have a much smaller audience than normal. That's okay. That's okay. But I'm here in case people need me. In case someone needs to find me. They'll be like, wait, where were you? So I'm scouring the internet for like different news that I was like, these are things that you didn't know yesterday, but you will know today. That's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted. This was something I did not know yesterday.
Recognize the gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Burchett, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Mr. Roman, are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week to the Taliban?
We're sending $40 million a week to the Taliban. That's $2 billion a year. Why? Why would that be? Wait, is that right? 40 times 50. By my math, it's 2 billion. No, 200. No, that's right. 2 billion.
Yes, sir.
Can you name other instances of foreign aid going to terrorist organizations?
So we're giving 2 billion a year to the Taliban. This is what we need. Am I getting that math right? I don't want to get my math wrong. That's going to get me mad if I get it wrong. Like later on, I'll be like, no, Joe, that's 200. How can it be only 200 million? That doesn't make sense. No, 4 times 5, 40 million times 5 would be 20 million. It is 200 million. Wait, 40? No, it's 40 million times 5 would be 200 million. And then that times 10 is 2 billion. I do have my math right. Okay.
We have assisted al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the Hamzi network in Sudan, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataib al-Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations.
These are terror organizations that we're funding.
Have received indirect assistance from U.S. foreign aid.
Why not?
Could you elaborate a little bit on the mechanisms in place that are to stop foreign aid from going to terrorist groups, and why are they not working if we have any in place?
Sure.
And I would note that these are, you notice these are terrorist weaponry. You see some AKs, SKSs, some snipers, some clips, some terrorist weapon clip carriers, probably made in China. And I believe these are small landmines here beside right there.
Let's use Gaza as our case study. $2.1 billion in American taxpayers' money to Gaza since October 7th when Hamas invaded southern Israel. USAID money was going in terms of an emergency use authorization to try to go to parties that USAID formerly had a relationship with in the Gaza Strip. They had to have been vetted by OFAC. They should have been vetted against the special designated terror list from the State Department and from other Treasury organizations. Waivers were granted because they said that there was an emergency use to have that money come in to Gaza, thereby jettisoning the usual typical screening procedures. As a result, 90% of aid that was going from the United States by way of its agents in Gaza ended up in Hamas-controlled areas. And this is ridiculous. Essentially,
90% of the money ended up going to Hamas. Great. That's really good.
what the U.S. assistance to Gaza did was underwrite the ability for Hamas to survive until the ceasefire was just passed a few weeks ago. There was no strategic thought for it, and there was no screening.
Seems like the emergency might have been armed terrorists to kill civilians. Would that be accurate?
That's accurate. And even more than that, Samantha Powers, the administrator for USAID, was intent on having Israel not be able to defend itself.
To not be able to defend it.
Correct.
Mr. Primorak, is that correct? How do you say that? Primorak? I got Burchett, man. Nobody gets mine right, so don't worry about it. What is it? Primorak?
Perfect.
All right, thanks, brother. How did terrorists exploit our foreign aid loopholes?
Well, we have a lot of our
Can
international.
you pull your mic up? I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You have international NGOs and UN agencies actively lobby here in Washington, D.C. against vetting policies that would prevent it. I was the senior vetting officer at USAID, and what
Hold
we
on a second. Did you say United Nations is doing this? The UN?
Sure, everybody who's getting money lobbies here.
that they're lobbying against us. I'm sorry, Mr. Roman, you're
There's actually someone who used to work for one of those lobbies, the largest NGO lobby, Interaction. One of our co-witnesses here worked for them from 2018 to 2023. USAID effectively self-funds its own external private lobby that then goes back to Congress and asks for more money for USAID.
Wow.
so the taxpayers fund.
So they fund lobby. USAID, part of what they're doing is funding lobbying for more money for themselves. Unbelievable. This is just unbelievable.
This lobbyist who's working against American interests.
Correct.
Possibly killing our allies and possibly Americans.
They bring together groups in Washington that overseas work with groups that kill Americans.
Yeah, I don't need a flow chart to show that. I appreciate it. Do you think USAID programs have been aligned with the national security interests of the U.S.?
No, they have not. They have actually helped China.
Mr. Roman?
No.
Okay. How do these programs compromise our national security, Mr. Premerick?
They actually push China. They actually push much of the world towards China on the green energy agenda. They push people, ordinary people, billions of people towards China because of the resentment caused by our social re-engineering.
Are we being lobbied by these pro-communist China groups currently?
Well, a lot of these countries don't even have to lobby because they get the money anyway, like South Africa.
Yeah, and in fact, these lobbyists have come to the House and have tried to kill legislation like HR 160, which was meant to increase transparency in USAID's funding of overseas organizations.
Is that a current piece of legislation?
That's from the last session.
And give me that number again.
HR 160.
And what does it do?
It was meant to give U.S. lawmakers the ability to have higher transparency in terror financing investigations aimed at scrutinizing extremist groups.
Mr. Premerick?
We had a regulation before we left in the last administration that anybody who touches money in countries where there's terrorists, those names have to go through databases, terrorist databases. That was overturned by Biden.
Of course it was. Of course it was. Of course it was. Because who cares? We need to get the money out. Who cares if it's going to terrorists? Why should we be bothering ourselves with that? That just slows down the spigot of money. That just slows it down. Why would you be vetting to see whether or not it's going to terrorists? That's insanity. Why would you want to do that? Joe Biden, most corrupt person in American political history. Unbelievable. Breck Nichols, God bless you, brother, from a 1960s poster. In case of a nuclear attack, bend down, putting your head between your knees, and kiss your aide goodbye. Kiss it goodbye. No, that is so true. I don't know what those drills were supposed to do. I don't know what those drills were supposed to do. Yeah. The gold didn't go up. Why didn't my gold go up? Oh, that sucks. That sucks. I didn't want that to happen. GB, God bless you, brother. Gifting 5 good Lawgic memberships. 5 new members of the following. Who'd you bring to us? Who did you bring to us? You brought in GB, brought in JG, and brought in Roy 89, Boof, 2, CD, and Hippie. All of them gifted memberships. Welcome to the following. The following, which is a group of like-minded individuals who are concerned with greater personal growth, which is, let's face it, that's the essence of life. Now, despite the name, it is not at all a cult type cult, and I am not the leader of the following. I'm just a host. Just a host. Welcome to the following. I'd appreciate if all 5 of you could just extend your gratitude to GP for his beneficence. God bless you, brother. Thank you. Nicole, you're here if we need. Me, I need. Oh, that's very kind of you. You're getting us through a long night drive from Jacksonville back home to Clearwater. Oh, or at least halfway. Thank you, Joe. Oh, good luck. Drive safe. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much. You got to be careful, though, because the dulcet tones. I don't know. My wife, my own wife has said, I can't listen to you while I'm driving at night because I'll just fall asleep. I'm just like, that's such an insult. That's so not nice. That's not what I want to hear. Just a reminder, we need a follower of the month. That is true. We do need a follower of the month. work on it. Thank you, Wellesley. Our Congress and Senate are worthless. They knew about all this corruption before Trump. Of course they're worthless. They're neocons. Don't you understand? The GOP are mostly neocons. They're all about upholding the institutions and keeping things going in ways that just they've been going. That's what they've always been about. And how do I get my taste? That's all most of them have ever been about. How do I get my taste? It's like it's like it's like the Roman Senate. They're all about their own greed and self-acclaim. That's all they've ever been about. Of course, they know they have to say certain things. Most of them are just neocons. Most of them are terrible. Most of them do nothing. They are worthless, completely worthless. All right. Let's do some more news from the world. I'm going to do a quick look of news around the world. Let's see. Do we want to cover Trump initiates? We got this. DoorDash and Klarna, a new era of food financing. Don't worry, I got other stuff, but I got other stuff, mostly about like court cases and stuff. Cori Bush's husband charged in COVID relief fraud scheme. This I gotta see. This we have to see. Courtney Merritt, the husband of former Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush. You remember her? She was sitting like on the steps of Congress in some sort of sit-in type of thing for like 20 minutes or something. Got lots of photos. She was a crazy leftist. She was hoping to become part of the squad, but she ended up losing in her election. So Courtney Merritt, the husband of former Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush, has been indicted on 2 counts of wire fraud. The charges stem from allegations that he submitted false applications to secure over $200,000 in COVID relief funds through the Economic Injury Disaster Loan and Paycheck Protection Program. This legal action does not directly involve Representative Bush. This illegal action, who remains uncharged in this matter. So far, charged by the DOJ with wire fraud. I thought she was homeless. They always have the picture of her. I always had a picture of her sitting in a car. You remember Cori Bush, this crazy screaming woman. Let's see what we got from her here. Following a separate investigation where Bush is accused of paying her husband $150,000 to serve as her bodyguard. So she basically stole that from Dalton. According to the Department of Justice, Courtney Merritt obtained more than $20,000 by falsifying business records. He allegedly took advantage of the Paycheck Protection Program. Courtney Merritt, who secretly married Bush in 2023, falsified details about his purported business in order to obtain more than $20,000 in loans in the Small Business Administration in 2020 and 2021. Let's hear from her.
I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now.
And I need you.
For me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200.
Oh, she's so noble. Saving her life so that she can help others. Oh. What? Just a picture of nobility.
$100,000. If I spend $10 more on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up. And defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
This talk out both sides of their mouth. I need protection. Society doesn't. This is why society needs me. Oh my God, what a grifter.
Put that money into social safety.
The wealthy should pay their fair share.
Yes, wealthy should pay their fair share.
What is a fair share? What percentage?
So you're saying that you're saying that they're paying their fair share is what you're saying.
No. We're saying you have a target in mind. What is a fair share? That's not what he's saying. No one said that. Why are you trying to reframe what he said?
Asking what percentage is a fair share?
Their fair share, the same, if a third of my money is going to taxes, then I think a third of their money should be going to taxes. Well, it does.
I'm trying to understand because
Oh God. Wait.
it does.
Well, it does.
I'm trying to understand because you realize that
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, I gotta get the right moment. It's really like a series of moments. I'm not gonna get a good moment here. I was thinking I need to replace my Biden's in midget Carterland picture, and that was something that just made me laugh so hard. I was like, I need that. I need more of that. But that I would need like a GIF.
Their fair share, the same. If a third of my money is going to taxes, then I think a third of their money should be going
it
to
does.
taxes. Well, it does.
I'm trying to understand because you realize the effective tax rate on the poor is less than it is on the rich, right?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not the poor. I'm very close to that line, but I'm not the poor.
Okay, so
But
the
we're
effective
also
tax
How is that?
rate on the effective tax rate on the middle class
Okay.
is less than it is on the rich, correct? What fair share would you like to change the tax rate to on the wealthiest what percentage of Americans so it's a fair share?
God.
So let's say the wealth.
Someone needs to ask AOC these questions. Someone needs to ask AOC these questions.
1% could pay, let's say, if they pay, let's just give them 45%.
Oh, I just threw out a number. Oh, okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was great. I never saw that before. That was awesome. This is why I search the news, because every once in a while you find something that you're just like, damn.
I'm going to make sure I have
Yeah, we got
has
that
to
right.
happen.
So former Democrat Representative Cori Bush's husband has been charged by the DOJ with wire fraud and allegedly defrauding the government by lying about PPP loans. I'm not going to bother looking it up, but all right. So that was worth the 10 minutes I spent there. Tesla vandalism, DOJ charges and security upgrades. Recent attacks on Tesla's properties across various locations have prompted the Department of Justice to charge 3 individuals for acts of vandalism, including arson and gunfire. Labeling these incidents as domestic terrorism. Domestic terrorism. These actions have led to increased security measures at Tesla's facilities, with some perpetrators being caught on Tesla's Sentry mode. Oh no, it's not fair. You're not allowed to have cameras on the car itself. Attorney General Pamela Bondi has highlighted severity of these attacks, seeking sentences that reflect the gravity of damaging corporate and private property. Elon was asking, has there ever been such a level of coordinated violence against a peaceful company? I understand not wanting to buy a product, but this is extreme arson and destruction. Said Tesla's ramped up security and activated Sentry mode on all vehicles at stores. Wow, look at that. Let's get this guy. Stupid. Idiot. Do you know this guy? You know him? Any of you know him? Any of you know him? They spent so many years telling us how we need EVs, but now that the EVs are being made by someone you don't like, So we don't need EVs anymore. We don't need them. So you don't either it's like you hate him so much that you're happy to see the world incinerate. You're happy to see the world spin off its axis in some fiery flame wall. Stupid people. So, yeah. On that topic, is this it? Yeah, this is it. This is what Job shared with me earlier, and it's on the same topic, so we can tie into it. See, bring it all together. Bring it all together here.
I think go back to point one. When you set a car on fire, you should go to jail. You're a criminal.
Any car.
I don't think we have to talk about it.
Any car. Why would you just say Teslas? Any car. No one. Yes, any car. It's like, you want a cookie? You said any car. You want a cookie?
In any other context, and all those cars have cameras in them, and those dealerships have cameras. You're beyond being stupid when you do that. You're going to go to jail, and you now have a government that just got their mandate. They can't wait to find idiots that do this. You're going to spend 5 to 20 years in prison. If they get them on terrorism, which I think is a stretch, they will have.
He was predicting the terrorism. He said this before. If they get them on terrorism,
no parole, no shortened sentence. They'll rot in hell in prison for 20 years. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. Breaking in, shooting a car, setting on fire, nothing to do with the politics, nothing to do with Tesla. You are a criminal, and you should go
what about the broader
to
question
jail.
about the protest factor? I mean, you heard
What
Tim Walz.
protest?
the protest factor. What about the It's like such stupid questions. What about it? What about the fact that it's supposed to be a peaceful protest, idiots? Like they ask, why do you ask such stupid questions?
I mean, I'm talking about Tim Walz and his comments about the Tesla stock.
Oh, this is great. Great. We covered Tim Walz that he, like a clown, was making fun of Tesla stock dropping.
He says it gives him a boost to see that stock going down.
That poor guy didn't check his portfolio and his own pension plan for state. It's beyond stupid what he did. He's talking down a 3.5% weighting in his own pension plan. I mean, what's the matter with that guy? He doesn't check the well-being of his own constituents in the state.
I mean,
that's their investment
to your
fund.
point,
What a bozo.
The minute
I think.
I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun tonight. Yes, what a bozo indeed. Thank you, Job49, for sharing that with me. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. We're going to continue going back around the news now. Let's continue scanning the news of the world. McGregor enters Irish presidential race. I don't care about that. Trump secures $40 million legal pledge from Paul Weiss. What is that? Paul Weiss is a law firm. President Trump has withdrawn an executive order against the law firm Paul Weiss, Rifkin, Wharton, and Garrison, LLP, after meeting with the firm's chairman, Brad Karp. The law firm has agreed to provide $40 million worth of pro bono legal services to support various initiatives of the Trump administration, including efforts for veterans, justice system fairness, and combating anti-Semitism. This agreement follows after the firm's former partner, Mark Pomerantz, was involved in New York's legal actions against Trump. $40 million. Okay. Let's read his statement here. I thought this executive order stripped them of clearances, or maybe it said they couldn't work for the government. We download this, make it a little bigger so you all can read it with me. Can you guys read this? Can you guys read it as is? Or does it need to be bigger? Still make it bigger. make it a little bigger. Today, President Donald J. Trump agreed to withdraw his March 14, 2025 executive order regarding the Paul Weiss, Rifkin, Wharton, and Garrison LLP firm, Paul Weiss, which is entered into the following agreement with the president. Paul Weiss agrees that the bedrock principle of American justice that must be fair and nonpartisan for all. Our justice system is betrayed when it is misused to achieve political ends. Lawyers and law firms play a vital role in ensuring that we live up to that standard as a nation. Law firms should not favor any political party when it comes to choosing their clients. Firms also should not make decisions on whom to hire based on a person's political affiliation. To do otherwise is to deny some Americans an equal opportunity for our services while favoring others. Lawyers are banned in the profession's highest ideals when they engage in partisan decision-making and betray their ethical obligation to represent those who are unpopular or disfavored in a particular environment. Paul Weiss affirms his unwavering commitment to these core ideas and principles and will not deny representation to clients, including in pro bono matters and in support of nonprofits, because of the personal political views of individual lawyers. Paul Weiss will take a wide range of pro bono matters that represent the full spectrum of political viewpoints of our society, whether conservative or liberal. They affirm the commitment to merit-based hiring, promotion, and retention, dedicate the equivalent of $40 million in pro bono legal services, which for Paul Weiss is probably like 12 hours. It is so high priced. Paul Weiss will dedicate the equivalent of $40 million in pro bono legal services over the course of President Trump's term to support the American administration's initiatives, including assisting our nation's veterans, fairness in the justice system, the president's task force to combat anti-Semitism, and other mutually agreed projects. He's agreeing to this action live in a meeting with Paul Weiss chairman Brad Karp, during which Mr. Karp acknowledged the wrongdoing of former Paul Weiss partner Mark Pomerantz, the grave dangers of weaponization. This is bending the knee and kissing the ring. That's what this is. I'm sorry. This is bending the knee and kissing the ring. Bending the knee and kissing the ring. If I were a lawyer, Paul Weiss, I don't know how I take myself seriously. This is absolutely shameful and spineless behavior. Pledging legal services to broadly support any administration's agenda is gross, but especially in this very protection racket way. It does feel like it. After a face-to-face meeting between Trump and the head of Paul Weiss, two sides have reached an agreement. This can't be Joe Walsh. Always whining, Joe Walsh. Always whining. What was the EO that he put against them? What was the EO? Now I'll ask Grok. Let's ask Grok. What EO did Trump issue against Paul Weiss? On March 14th, Trump issued executive orders how assessing yikes, this is long. Risk from Paul Weiss targeting the law firm Paul Weiss, Rifkin, Wharton. The order aimed to suspend security clearances held by individuals at Paul Weiss, including former partner Mark Pomerantz, pending a review of whether such clearances were consistent with the national interests. So now they're getting security clearances again? It also directed federal agencies, they're not going to get their clearances, I can't imagine. It directed federal agencies to terminate contracts involving Paul Weiss, restricted the firm's employees from accessing government buildings, and limited their ability to receive federal jobs or funds. The White House justified this action by citing the firm's alleged role in undermining the judicial process and harmful activities, specifically pointing to Pomerantz's involvement in a prior investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office into Trump, as well as the firm's diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, which the administration claimed violated civil rights laws against racial bias. Wow. That is... What has happened to the appeals of Judge Nichols? $400 million, $82 million to crazy. Oh. Those are still, I think, working their way through the court. They can take years. An appeal can literally take years. Sherry Law's though been a member here. I'm gonna blast the horn. 15 months. 15 months. Sherry been here. 15 months. You go. You go. You go. You go. I enjoy going through the news. I don't know about you guys. I like it. I like it. Let's see what else we got in the news. Let's see. I'm searching the news. Tesla's first public all hands meeting. K Flock guilty on RICO. Faces life. I don't know who K Flock is. Should I know who K Flock is? I don't care. Elon must have gained insight into U.S.'s China war strategy. I don't care about the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Judge blocks DOGE access to Social Security records. Yeah, this is something. Who was it? This is something. Oh, I won't find it. This is what I want. This is what I plan on covering. Federal judge of Maryland has issued a temporary restraining order preventing Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from accessing Social Security Administration systems. The ruling came after allegations that DOGE's access was a fishing expedition without sufficient justification. Like, how can you possibly? That's the point. It's not a fishing expedition. It's not. A fishing expedition is you can't take someone to court when you don't know you have a basis. But the reason why you're allowed to go on a fishing expedition to make sure your own house is in order. You don't need justification to go on a fishing expedition to make sure your house is in order. That's your job. Potentially endangering personal data privacy. What such crap. This decision highlights tensions between efforts to streamline government operations and the protection of personal information. Such utter crap. A federal judge in Maryland has just barred DOGE from accessing Social Security systems, saying the group is on a fishing expedition. It's worse than that. Federal Judge Ellen Hollander has blocked Elon Musk and DOGE from accessing Americans' sensitive private information at the Social Security Instrument. You stupid. Protect Kamala Harris. Stupid. Idiots. It's like, no, we need to have more waste and fraud. American public may well applaud and support the Trump administration's mission to root out fraud, waste, and bloat from federal agencies, including SSA, to the extent it exists. But by what means and methods? The DOGE team is essentially engaged in a fishing expedition at SSA in search of a fraud epidemic based on little more than suspicion. No, it's not based on little more than suspicion. It's based on that we see that their records show that there was 2 million people over age 130. It has launched a search for proverbial needle in a haystack without any concrete knowledge that the needle is actually in the haystack. Wrong. Utter crap. It's like she literally thinks that she's the chief of the executive branch. It's his executive branch. He gets to say how it's going to be run. This is so insane. It's crazy. It's really crazy. She's literally Beckwana out of her mind. You're out of your mind, Judge Hollander. It's his executive branch. They're really pushing the envelope. They are really pushing the envelope. So I can't send in DOGE to check out what exactly is happening.
President Trump has signed
to run that agency, doofus. Ridiculous. As Mike Davis tweeted out. This is insane. An activist Obama judge illegally rules the president's staff cannot access information at an executive branch agency for the purpose of rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse. It's an obvious violation of Article 2 of the Constitution, which gives the president all executive power. I don't know why the judicial branch thinks they can decide how the executive branch does its thing. This is insanity. This includes his constitution to take care our laws are faithfully executed, free of waste, fraud, and abuse. Yeah. You're correct. This is the Axios report on that. Musk and DOGE barred from accessing personal Social Security data by the judge. Federal judge on Thursday temporarily blocked Elon Musk and DOGE employees from accessing Americans' personal information in Social Security Administration systems. Why it matters? More than 65 million Americans received. All right. The judge ordered DOGE employees to disgorge and delete any personally identifiable information that they haven't had been that they had that hadn't been anonymized. They were also barred from installing software on Social Security Administration devices in order to remove any software they've installed since the start of the Trump administration. The audacity! This crazy. This bitch crazy. She crazy. She crazy woman. You a loon. You're a freaking loon. They're allowed to go on a fishing expedition. He's allowed to. He should be doing that. Sometimes you clean house. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a healthy thing. That's like saying, oh, so if you're cleaning out your closet, you're going on a fishing expedition. How insane is this judiciary? How insane are they? The audacity of these people. And a lot of people are going to say this. They're going to say they're going to say, I want to do what Bob Jones is doing, flip the bird and say, ignore her. That's what they all are going to say. That's what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are saying that. I think he's been using the better method, which Margaret Cleveland covered yesterday, which is pretend to actually be following it and find loopholes. They're cleaning house on everything. You don't have to identify. It's audacious that you're even considering this case at all. On what basis are you considering this case? Where do you have the jurisdiction for this? It's unbelievable. Part of your basis is that top official resigned in February in response to them getting access. What makes people running SSA more trustworthy in accessing that information than people from DOGE? What makes them more trustworthy? What makes DOGE more of a risk? So stupid. Very aggravating. Yeah. You want to know where these judges are coming from? Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer wants to tell you where they're coming from.
There are those who believe that we are in real time living through an assault on the constitutional order. Do you believe that we are
Yeah, we are, because we have these crazy judges.
in a constitutional crisis right now?
We are, because of these judges.
Yes, our
We are, because of these judges.
democracy is at risk.
Your democracy is evil, as are you. Look at his face. Look at his face, his angry face. Look at his angry face. He's so desperate to make TV appearances now. You see him on TV over the last week more than ever, ever since he had to cave because he looked like a fool. Because he said, we're going to stand up against Trump and not sign the CR. And he caved less than 24 hours later because he recognized that was a stupid position to take. And all the Democrats came hunting for his head. Now he's basically, he's on The View. He's with this nobody. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Chuck Schumer. Assault on our democracy. Assault on our democracy.
Because Donald Trump shows that he wishes to violate the laws in many, many different ways.
No, he hasn't shown that at all. Quite the contrary, he keeps upholding it. These stupid, ridiculous orders.
The good news here is we did put 235 judges, progressive judges not under the control of Trump last.
We put in judges
year on the bench, and they are ruling against Trump time.
Oh, so the good news is that we stacked the deck with people who are ignoring the law and just ruling against Trump.
After time after time. And we hope that the appellate courts, when it gets up there in the Supreme Court, will uphold those rulings. They restored the money to NIH. They required that 8,000 federal employees have to come back.
They made sure that the money for transgender mice went out.
We're in over 100 lawsuits against them.
Yeah. And that's all Chief Justice John Roberts' fault, because he wants to let it play out.
And we are having a good deal of success. It's only at the lower court level right now.
There are those who believe that we are
Unbelievable. Audacities for people. So let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. It's not okay for it's not okay for an unelected person to do an audit, but an unelected judge can tell an elected president what to do. That's what they're saying. Precisely right, Concert. Precisely, you're spot on. Exactly right. Exactly right. Why isn't the mainstream media talking about the persecution of Christians in Syria since the Biden administration ousted the Syrian government? I don't know, Kenny. How often do I cover Middle East stuff? So rarely. So rarely. But for you, because you're such a dedicated viewer of the show. And you are. I mean that part sincerely. I mean most things I say sincerely, but since you are such a dedicated, I'm going to ask Rock about it. And I really never look at the Middle East. We have to press for the Middle East. Tell me, explain to me, this is just for you, so I can help bring information to the public. Explain to me why there is an upswing of persecutions of Christians. Okay. Madness is like a big playground where lots of kids play. For a long time, there's a leader who made rules to keep things calm, even if he wasn't always nice. Some of those kids were Christians. And they got to play mostly safe. Okay, explain it to me like I'm 10. Okay. So there's been a mess for years because civil war that started back in 2011. Government led by a guy named Bashar al-Assad was in charge for a long time, kept things under control, even if it was harsh. Christians, who are a minority there, were mostly left alone as long as they didn't cause trouble. Assad's regime kind of protected them because they weren't a threat and even supported him sometimes. Fast forward to late 2024, Assad got overthrown. Now the groups that took over, like some Islamist militias, think hardcore religious fighters don't like Christians. These groups, including one tied to what used to be Al-Qaeda or other extremists, want everyone to follow a strict version of Islam. Christians with their different beliefs and practices stick out, and these militias see them as outsiders or even enemies. With Assad gone, there's no one strong enough to keep these militias in check. They've got more power now, and they're using to target Christians. Attacking churches, forcing people to leave, or worse, it's not totally new. Persecution has been around during the war, but it's spiking because the chaos and power shift gave these groups a green light to go harder. That's the deal with the upswing right now. Tough to give you an exact picture because things are chaotic and reports vary, but I'll break it down based on what's happening as of March 20th. Since Bashar al-Assad was overthrown in December 2024, the situation for Christians got worse in a lot of places. The new group in charge, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, had a history of being hardcore Islamists. It used to be linked to Al-Qaeda. And even though they're saying they'll protect everyone, that's not what's playing out everywhere. In some areas, especially Western Syria, like Latakia and Tartus, violence exploded in early March 2025. Over 1,500 people got killed in just a few days. Horrible. Mostly civilians. While the main targets were Alawites, Assad's group, Christians got caught up in it too. Some reports say Christians are being specifically hunted down for their faith right now, but others point to attacks on churches, homes being looted, a few Christians dying in the crossfire being targeted because they're seen as easy pickings. Christian popularity is already tiny, down from 1.5 million in 2011 to about 300,000 now. So even small losses hit hard. HTS is trying to look legit, promising justice and saying they'll investigate the killings, but they're not fully in control. Rogue militias and old Assad loyalists are still fighting, and Christians are stuck in the middle. In places like Aleppo or Homs, where Christians used to have decent numbers, they're scared. Some are fleeing south or out of the country entirely. Economic collapse and corruption make it even harder. if you're a Christian in a hotspot like the coast and your rebel zones, it's not full on genocide everywhere, but the risk of getting attacked, displaced, or worse is way up since society fell. The future shaky depends on whether HTS. So you want to know why the mainstream is not talking about it? Because it makes Muslims look bad. That's why. There you go. It makes Muslims look bad. That's why. Closed courts by a health department looking for Democrat infestation. I saw some of these judges at a secret society, like back when we were under the crown. I was thinking about talking about this. You're talking about the ins of the courts, right? This is what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about here. I saw someone else mention something about this, the ins of the courts. There's this Bad Kitty, I think, or something is talking about it. I think that's a good thing for me to break down and give you the very, very little I know about it. I want to give my thank you to Century Bro. Very generous tip there. God bless you, brother. Salute. Do I need to take a shot or something? I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I gave you a double horn. With the red ones, like if I notice it, I'll blow the horn and then give it again when I get to it. So, but thank you, Century Bro. I'm much obliged. Much obliged indeed. I'd never heard of Ins of the Court until now. So to answer your question, Elephant, which I think others may have seen something similar. Bad Kitty Unleashed put out this thing. Breaking expose. 5 anti-Trump judges are involved in a secretive invite-only club for judges and lawyers called the American Inns of Courts. Okay. Before I go any further, I'm going to tell you right now. What I'm about to read to you right now, I don't know that this is nearly as nefarious as the tone of this post implies. That it really, let's just start for us. Let's start for a second. Let's just think for a second. In the legal community, as it were, you're going to have various societies of lawyers, judges, and people who hang out with each other because you tend to hang out with people in your profession. So if there are societies of attorneys, that's a natural and normal thing. American Bar Association, there are countless associations out there which attorneys and judges may be members in and go to meetings, hang out, you network, and do stuff of that nature. The tone of this post that I'm about to read to you is designed to say that this is very nefarious and that this is some hush-hush type of thing where it's like almost like it makes like instead of being a society into being a cabal, which is working towards some evil agenda. And I'm not saying that's not true. I'm saying I'm not familiar with Inns of Court. And accordingly, I can't tell you that, but someone who I know and have interacted with who's an attorney is going to refute this altogether. But I'll give you what the initial story is. So this Bad Kitty Unleashed, who's not a small account, has 134,000 followers, says breaking expose, 5 anti-Trump judges are involved in a secretive invite-only club for judges and lawyers called the American Inns of Court. Even the membership and meetings are secret, but somehow DOJ has shown up at meetings, at least since Biden has been in office. Is hobnobbing with DOJ in court matters acceptable, let alone meeting in secret? So who all is linked to the selective and secretive club? And recall all of their negative Trump rulings. And she's gonna highlight the people who are gonna make you cringe, like Judge James Boasberg and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Judge Amit Mehta, Judge Beryl Howell. These are people who all issued recently, TROs. And Justice John Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts, bencher of the Middle Temple. Wasn't it something else that Judge John Roberts broke ethical conduct and stuck up for his brother Boasberg? Well, when he was being threatened with impeachment? I think that's a stretch. Soros has funded a fellowship at Middle Temple where John Roberts is the master of the bench. First, let me very quickly explain how a secret society called the American Inns of Court came about. In the UK, they have the 4 Inns of the Court that dates back hundreds of years. One of these is called Middle Temple. Well, the U.S. created the American version of this in recent decades. There's a massive list of branches. The branch many of our judges belong to is the Edward Bennett Williams Inn of Court. It's so secretive, they deleted most signs of this branch on their website, although they still met. Now, here's Judge Beryl Howell. She was nominated by President Judge Boasberg, and VP Ketanji Brown Jackson approved of her nomination. Boasberg claims it was her work on January 6th that contributed to his choosing her for the American Inns of Court Professionalism Award. Let me show you the scant meeting info that I found, which include the DOJ Inspector General Horowitz in attendance. So she goes through these different individuals who are all linked to this Inns of Court. And Chief Justice John Roberts is category of honorary benchers. And the president is this scummy James Boasberg. Vice president is Ketanji Brown Jackson. All right. Judge Beryl Howell. And Bad Kitty goes on with different what it is that they do rather than just hanging out with each other. I don't know. I don't know. The implication is supposed to be like this is, they're all getting together to talk about, they have to get together in order to issue crazy anti-Trump rulings. Okay. So this guy who I've been following, Dr. Malibu, who I agree with him on a lot of things, but certainly some things I vehemently disagree with him about. I had a big argument with him for using the term genocide in reference to the Middle East situation. And I explained to him how that was such a ridiculously stupid term. And he seemed to almost admit that it was. So he responded to BS Kitty. To Kitty saying it's BS, your post belongs in the litter box. There are Inns of the Court everywhere. They're not secret societies. They're there for academic lecturing, continuing education, and networking among students, attorneys, judges, and legal support professionals. I belong to the Strauss Institute at Pepperdine University, the School of Law. And here's the American Inns of Court, and he hit his name because he doesn't want his name getting out there. But his point is, this is just lawyers getting together, which is something that in every profession, folks of the same profession will get together. So I don't know that it's a secret cabal. I never heard of it before reading this post, so I don't know very much more about it other than so they hang out with each other. I'm not surprised that they have a club, an official club named. Okay. It doesn't. If they were doing nothing nefarious, it would look exactly the same. And it doesn't mean they're not doing anything nefarious. I'm simply saying, I'll share with you something that I remember I was taking advanced trial advocacy in Fordham. So this was given by a couple of practicing attorneys who were very skilled litigators. One of them was Ron Pachetti, who ended up defending one of the police who was charged with Abner Louima, attacking Abner Louima, for those of you old enough to remember that name. So Ron Pachetti, he told us a lot of war stories. The idea was to get us thinking like how to handle yourself when you're in a tough moment in trial. He shared with us the following story. He said he was at a trial where he was defending someone who was accused with art forgery that he had basically knowingly passed along. Or maybe not, it wasn't art. I think it was like carpet forgery. I don't know. It was some sort of forgery type of deal. I'm thinking back like a very long time, so I apologize that I don't want to get the particulars wrong, but and one of the defenses that they had put forward was this guy, when he was doing all these different business dealings and selling the art, he used his real name. So it's like, it's not like he's trying to like play some con game here. He used his real name the entire time. So he's like, they got in this art forger expert to come in and testify. And he came in there and he reads off his CV and he goes on about how he's been studying art forgery for 35 years and that he studied the techniques and methodologies of all these different art forgers and how he's testified at a dozen different trials, and that one of the main, and he started explaining and spent an hour going on and on saying that art forgers, it's beneficial to them to use their real name. And they ask that, and they always they tend to use their real name all the time. And when they use their real, the reason they use their real name is blah blah blah, and going on and on about how this is the method that they're able to engage in art forgery is by using their actual real name, and it helps build credibility to whatever story they're selling, and they'll use a real name for this and for that, on and on. He said an hour. This guy's testifying about art forgers, and how they all use their real name. An hour of testimony. He said, you want to know how long my cross-examination was? One question. And he said, you know what that question was? To people who are selling real art, not selling forgeries, they tend to use their real name. Yeah, thanks. No further questions. The point being, hey, look, I don't care what art forgers do. My guy's not an art forger. So he used his real name. That's why he used his real name. Because that's what anyone selling art would do. So he said, an hour's worth of testimony. The point being, when you come, the reason I bring this story up now is because you look at this organization and everyone's like, well, what's going on there? What's going on there? What's going on there? And yeah, could there be something nefarious going on there? 100%. Could be. But just because there's the existence of this society, it doesn't mean anything. It really tells us nothing about it. And I'm not defending this society. I literally never heard of them until today. But I do think that we tend to be because we're so bitten by the conspiracy bug that we tend to assume that, whenever I see something that I didn't know about beforehand, where there's all of a sudden these connections I never knew about beforehand, that those connections are indicia that there's some sort of secret evil agenda behind it. And sometimes just people being people. Just saying a DM about Justice Robinson. Others, everybody have been informed. Let me see if this is a new thing. Let's see this here. Yeah. Oh, this is it. Same thing. Shares me the same thing, basically. Chief Justice John Roberts called a secretive invite-only club for elite judges and lawyers that includes James Boasberg, Beryl Howe, me, Manning, Tangi Brown Jackson. How many other people are in there? Are there 10,000 other people in there? Now, it's true he is the president. That's true. This is Judge Boasberg, the president of the club. But I don't know. Just because John Roberts is in the club, is it something that I'm happy to see? No. I don't know what to make of it. Non-hamster shared it.
They will send you to prison or
an hour and a half. A non-hamster. That's an hour and a half. What can I do with an hour and a half video? Johnny Reb says, Joe, we need ED 209s regarding Teslas. I don't know what that means. ED 209s? You shared a clip with me. I hope to God he's not screwing me here. It wouldn't be intentional. It'd be unintentional, but let's see. We're just going to roll it out here. We're going to roll it out. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. All right. You want to know more crazy judges? Let's do one more crazy judge. Brought to us by much heralded and properly so, Margot Cleveland. Holy crap! Federal judge just told Trump he can't hire a former DOGE employee to work in USAID. Trump administration sought clarification to ensure injunction didn't cover Lewin, who was hired to work with USAID, and court said, nope, he's covered. They're telling him who he can hire. This has to be a joke. This has to be a joke. Defendant's motion for clarification modification is denied, and that court confirms that Jeremy Lewin is bound by the preliminary injunction, therefore declines to clarify and modify the preliminary injunction so as to include him from its coverage. Lewin was appointed to acting USAID Deputy Administration, and Rubio delegated that authority to Lewin, put Lewin in charge of day-to-day work at USAID. Lewin would answer to Rubio and Trump. Yesterday, acting USAID Administrator Rubio delegated to Jeremy Lewin the authorities of the Deputy Administrator for policy and programming and the Chief Operating Officer for USAID. This decision was made prior to this court's order, but was formalized on March 18th. Declaration of Jeremy Lewin. Mr. Lewin is now responsible for most of the day-to-day work at USAID, and his declaration details. Mr. Lewin was previously the DOGE team lead at USAID. Given his new role, he is no longer the DOGE team lead at USAID, nor is he a member of that team at all. As Mr. Lewin makes clear in his declaration, none of Elon Musk's USDS or USDS employee has any formal authority over me. He's been duly appointed by his deputy administrator and COO position by Secretary of State Rubio. His capacity as acting administrator answers to him and the president. Meaning, so this Lewin individual was working for DOGE and then left DOGE said he could basically take over USAID. Judge says, no, you can't work there. They told Rubio and Trump they can't hire a person they believe best suited for the job because he was previously in DOGE lead. It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. They're lunatics. It's the executive branch. We can't hire who we want. Oh, let's come to the court. Can we hire this person? We're gonna have to have a vetting. It's not up to the president who we hire. No. It's up to some rando judge. Literally out of their minds. It's like they're drunk on power. Drunk on power. We constantly hear how the Federalist Society is how evil the Federalist Society is. This is the same deal. And it may be. Look, a lot of lawyers suck. Most lawyers are lefties. They are. Most of them are lefties. So, yeah, a lot of them suck. Robot Tesla's featuring a loud scream from the Tesla that sends a Robocop to flamethrower perp. That would be so awesome, wouldn't it be? Look, no one told you to go there. I will tell you that since I am a lawyer, I should mention to you that I remember way back in law school that it's considered a crime. You cannot defend your property with lethal means. You should be aware of that. There's a famous case, which I think most law students read. Can't remember the name of it for the life of me, of someone who had like a hunting lodge that he would leave every winter. And during the winter, it would invariably get robbed. People would come in during the winter and just rob the place. And he was sick of it. So he basically set up on his front door contraption, which like a robber came in there and it was a shotgun that was set up there that when the guy walked into the place, he pulled the door open and basically ended up pulling the trigger and blowing his own knees out. And the court found that that he was using inappropriate levels of force to protect his property. And accordingly, that was a no-go. I believe that was criminal court. I believe that was criminal law. So don't do that. Don't go getting RoboCops to protect your Tesla. That I would not be doing. And then we have, while we're sticking with crazy people, this is Boston Mayor Michelle Wu.
We stand with immigrants. You belong here. Somos una ciudad de inmigrantes. Boston doesn't back down.
Who the hell is there? And why are they only applauding when she speaks in Spanish? So she's got some Spanish audience saying Boston doesn't back down.
We are a city where the Irish coffee is strong and our opinions are stronger. We may not always agree or see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, we are a family. If you come for one of us, you will get all of us. We stand with
I get very, 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 very. When I see idiots like that, I hope every assault that some poor Boston citizen has to suffer because of her recklessness is visited upon her 100-fold. Sick people. They're sick. They're really sick, and the yahoos in the audience who are sitting there applauding, yay! They all get what they deserve. The sad thing is that these people don't stay in Boston. They get what they deserve. Joe, check out the White House tweet a few hours ago. By the way, you can defend your property with lethal force in Texas. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Not if you're not there. You have to be there. You have to be there. Not leave an empty premises. You have to be in the house. Check out what the White House tweeted a few hours ago. What did the White House tweet a few hours ago? That's a very vague thing. You gave me very vague information here, GB. I'm watching the chat. Tell me what you meant by that. Hands on Pack says, no worries, Trump can dissolve and form a new DOGE. It's within the office of the president. Also says, so Fed buys, leases some Teslas and uses them as bait cars, charged with damage to federal property, 5 years, $250,000. I like it. Zelian says, Joe, I want to bring a smile today from your area of the world, from the Huffington Post. TSA catches man smuggling live turtle in his pants. Hans says, if Congress establishes courts outside of SCOTUS, can they force cameras in courtrooms? Congress establishes courts outside of SCOTUS. Can they force cameras in courtrooms? Apparently not. 40 million times 52 weeks is 2.08 billion. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you, Denise. I was trying to see what GB said. GB. You didn't catch the had to be there part? No, GB. I was asking you what you're referring to. The White House tweeted. Check out what the White House tweeted. Miss it. I know it's becoming a bigger deal. Just read it. Jeez. What do you... Do you mean the... When you say what the White House tweeted? This is the White House. Is this what you mean? I don't know what you want. All right, I'm giving up. I'm at the White House on Twitter. I feel like I'm am I looking at the wrong thing? Is this the wrong thing? The White House? That's not it. That's what I was looking at. Oh, the Second Amendment thing. Ah, okay. A well-regulated militia being necessary to secure a free state, the right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Dan Bongino paid a visit to the ATF today. It's a new era, one where Americans will be safe and their constitutional rights will be protected. It's interesting you say this because I actually have right here. No, not there. Not there. No, not there. Where was it? This was what I was actually planning on. I'm planning on doing locals after. Yeah, I know. I haven't put it up. I haven't posted on locals yet. It's going to be an Insta locals. I plan on doing locals. In fact, I'm going to set this up now. This guy here that you see here on the screen, this judge right here, this judge is the most based Californian judge you've ever seen in your life. The most based California judge. I'm gonna make a thing. I'm making it now. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it. We're gonna take a minute. I'm setting up a live stream. I'm gonna start this show in a half hour, and I want to watch this video with you all. That's like a separate show. That's a separate show. That's gonna be on locals. Live stream. I'm setting it up now. I'll put the link in the description. What he talks about is how California has a new law now, which says that it said that a gun which has a magazine that holds more than 10 bullets is considered an accessory, so they're allowed to restrict that. And this judge ain't having it. Now, he lost. It's a panel of judges. But he made a video showing how ridiculous the decision of the majority was. It's an 18-minute video that I plan on watching with you all. The most based California judge ever. I'm going to set this up to start. We'll do it in 20 minutes. Schedule this live stream for 20 minutes now. I'll share a link with y'all. Don't worry, I'll put it in the chat. You'll be able to find it. I just added to the description. Let's throw it in the chat, and I'll do it in the chat and Rumble first. We'll do it in the chat and Rumble first. Oh, there you go. Pin it here too. So that's going to be our locals. It's probably in 20 minutes. Trust me, you're going to want to see this video. He's breaking down his weaponry. He's breaking down everything. It's awesome. There's one story I want to get to. There's one story I want to get to. Remember Katie Hobbs, governor of Arizona? Some of you may remember that she's the one who in a had a very shady election win over Carrie Lake. Katie Hobbs, who was Secretary of State, overseeing her own election, which sounds so insane, it's beyond belief. That Katie Hobbs. Well, apparently she's under investigation now. Katie Hobbs now being investigated for bribery, fraud, conspiracy, and racketeering in 2 separate cases, all for the children. This comes after the Arizona Republic detailed how state contractor Sunshine Residential Homes bribed Governor Katie Hobbs and Arizona Democrats in return got millions more in taxpayer money. Oh! Oh no! Oh no! Sunshine Residential was denied a rate increase in December 2022. But 3 days later, it bribed Katie Hobbs with $100,000 and Arizona Democrats $200,000. So they gave up $300,000 to Democrats. Additionally, Arizona state lawmakers are now investigating Katie Hobbs after $339 million disappeared as Hobbs' budget director mysteriously resigns. Quote, in my capacity as chairman of the Joint Legislative Audit Committee, I want you to know that the Auditor General's office stands ready to partner with you in getting the facts about this troubling matter. Make no mistake, we will allocate the resources the Auditor General needs to help restore what appears to be a major breach of trust in our government. State Senator Alex Collin, quote, imagine my shock when the legislature was informed the state has several insolvent agencies and requires a $339 million bailout to close out the current fiscal year. Why did you mislead the legislature about the spending you intended to approve? In just 2 weeks' time, I've learned the problem has worsened and that your office request is now $350 million.
Investigating ties between Governor Katie Hobbs and the operator of a group home for foster kids. It comes after reports that Sunshine Residential Homes Incorporated made 6-figure donations to the governor's inauguration fund.
And to the Arizona Democratic Party just before getting a large rate hike from the state. This story was first reported in detail by the Arizona Republic. Fox 10's Brian Webb is live tonight at the Capitol with more. Brian.
Well, both the AG's office and the Maricopa County Attorney are looking into this. Did this company benefit because of those donations? At the same time, the state was making cutbacks and denying contracts to others.
Making cutbacks everywhere else, but raising the rates of the one that donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to her and the Arizona Democrats. Shifty, shady, sneaky, corrupt Democrats, and especially Katie Hobbs.
Sunshine Residential Homes Incorporated runs group homes for foster kids and was approved for a big rate hike during Hobbs' time in office. It's a company already on the radar screen of state lawmakers.
I'm just going to say, this is the most airbrushed photo in the history of airbrushing. You can actually see she doesn't have skin. It's like this plastic sort of veneer that they put over her hideous face. The most airbrushed photo ever of her from like 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
During Hobbs' time in office, it's a company already on the radar screen of state lawmakers like Republican TJ Shope.
We have an entity here in Sunshine Residential that currently has a lawsuit pending against it.
I'm not making that up. Did you see any pores in her face? No. Is it skin texture? No. Unless all of a sudden she just got replasticized. That is not human skin.
Because a young man below the age of 10 passed away because he was not administered insulin.
According to reporting by the AZ Republic, Sunshine Residential was denied a rate increase.
Passed away.
Let's say that again, because I was talking over him.
Incorporated runs group homes for foster kids and was approved for a big rate hike during Hobbs' time in office.
Rate hike while they're killing their own
on the
kids.
radar screen of state lawmakers like Republican TJ Shope.
We have an entity here in Sunshine Residential that currently has a lawsuit pending against it because a young man below the age of 10 passed away because he was not administered insulin.
According to reporting by the AZ Republic, Sunshine Residential was denied a rate increase in December 2022, but 3 days later donated $100,000 to the Hobbs inaugural campaign. Then the very next year, the increase was approved, $234 a day, much higher than the average $169 for other group homes.
We were talking about millions of dollars, and to know that not many, if any at all, had seen rate increases that large was definitely troubling.
The newspaper also reports Sunshine donated $200,000 to the Arizona Democratic Party, plus the CEO was on the Hobbs inauguration committee. Shope says it's either a crazy coincidence or plain as day pay to play, and it's now up to investigators.
I have to believe that they, at the very least, see the allegations the same way that I do, which is troubling at best and possibly worse.
Governor Hobbs' office sent out a statement. It reads, just like past investigations instigated by radical and partisan legislators, the administration will be cleared of wrongdoing. Governor Hobbs is a social worker who was a champion for Arizona families and kids.
Champion.
It is outrageous to suggest her administration would not do what's right for children and foster care.
That's not what's right for children in foster care. You're trying to like put a whole sugar coating on it. It's about how much money you gave this particular agency while you're giving cutbacks to everyone else. That you're giving them an extra $65 per day per kid. You thief.
I did reach out to Sunshine Residential Homes today for comment. I was told there was no one available to talk. Live at the state capitol, Brian Webb.
Arizona. Obviously. No comment. They do not see this administration as legitimate. You're correct, Bob. They don't. That's why they keep thinking that they can dig it around. It is the most legitimate administration in history, if you're judging based on how hard they're working. Traffic. There was an Epstein ranch there in Arizona. That's true. There is one. In fact, Annie Farmer talked about how she was taken interstate. She's the only one who testified. She's the only one at the Ghislaine Maxwell trial who testified on her own name, and she told over her story about how she was sent out there. She was not assaulted there. She was talking about how she was like creeped out beyond belief while she was there and terrified, but she was not. I don't think she was assaulted there. My recollection. That's my recollection, though. It's been a while. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Two more quick things before I get out of here. I'll save that for last.
Here's what's going to happen.
This is on tariffs. Kevin O'Leary talking about tariffs and how he seems like he's in awe of Trump.
I'm going to just give it to you in English. Every single tariff schedule, they started in the Second World War, that far back, on every product in every country has never been looked at this way. So India, Ireland, England, Canada, Mexico. If you charge 243%, which is what they charge Vermont butter when it goes into Quebec, they're going to put a reciprocal tax on it April 2nd. Even Steven. So butter coming in from Quebec is going to be taxed at 243% into Vermont. And then what happens, both sides look at each other and say, this is pretty dumb. Why are we doing this to each other? And they say, how about no tariffs?
Yes.
That's why this works, because you got to squeeze. Yeah.
April 2nd is going to be a big day. We're going to roll out the reciprocal tariffs. But what I can tell you, and I would encourage your viewers and the public and the media to follow, going into April 2nd, and already now we've seen some of our most imbalanced trading partners come forward and want to drop their tariffs. So by President Trump pushing forward with a tariff plan, reciprocal tariffs, if you drop yours, we'll drop ours. We are already seeing some of the worst offenders come down. April 2nd is an important day, but I would also tell everyone to look what happens from April 2nd to say June 30th as the other countries come down too.
When they start to feel it.
Trump created a win-win.
When they start to feel it.
Either the tariff barriers come down, the U.S. can export more, trade is fairer. It's always been free, but not fair. And then we, or if they don't do it, we'll take in substantial revenues.
There you go. There you go. That's April 2nd. But I think he's right. Look, prices might go up in the short term, but he's saying that within a couple of months, you'll see that we'll have a lot fairer trade and all those tariffs will start going away. And speaking of our president, our great and noble president, Donald Trump, blessed be his name. Everyone's talking about the end of the Department of Education. Apparently he's got another one. And I'm sure the left is going to mock him because of, well, I'll explain why afterwards. But
I'm announcing today we will take the billions and billions of dollars that we will collect by taxing, fining, and suing excessively large private university endowments. And we will then use that money to endow a new institution called the American Academy. Its mission will be to make a truly world-class education available to every American, free of charge, and do it without adding a single dime to the federal debt. This institution will gather an entire universe of the highest quality educational content covering the full spectrum of human knowledge and skills, and make that material available to every American citizen online for free. Whether you want lectures or ancient histories or an introduction to financial accounting or training in a skilled trade, the goal will be to deliver it and get it done properly. Using study groups, mentors, industry partnerships, and the latest breakthrough in computing, this will be a truly top-tier education option for the people. It will be strictly non-political, and there will be no wokeness or jihadism allowed. None of that's going to be allowed. Most importantly, the American Academy will compete directly with the existing and very costly four-year university system by granting students degree credentials that the U.S. government and all federal contractors will henceforth recognize.
Nice. Now, he's going to get mocked because of the whole bankruptcy of Trump University. Don't get me wrong. You can anticipate that will certainly happen. But the reality is, if he's offering free education here to the public and saying that, they're going to be issuing degrees that will be recognized by the federal government, he's creating opportunities that no one else thought of. And he's saying it's not. He said they're going to get that money by taxing the private institutions. God bless. God bless. So there you go. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a vote of confidence. I need votes of confidence. Sometimes I feel very insecure. You can probably tell. No, I appreciate it. So it's keeping that new Grok fella on the payroll as your premier news correspondent. He's great. He's great for that stuff. He's really great for it. G. Dean saying Democrats equals damn rats. This is true. It's coming time. It's coming time for me to move you all on over to Locals. On Locals, which I plan on dropping for you a few comedy things that I had in the tank. Because on Thursday nights, I like cleaning out my cache of things that made me laugh and sharing them over on Locals. I also, the theme of tonight's show is I plan on reviewing this 18.5-minute video of Richard Nixon talking about Watergate. No, different 18.5 minutes. No, 18.5-minute video of Judge Van Dyke, which he put out, his first video ever, the most based California judge in Californian history. The guy is awesome. He goes through a whole display of different parts of a gun, and he's got his own private arsenal. He's a very big believer in 2A, and he's very frustrated by what the majority decided, where they're limiting the ability of Californians to carry magazines that carry a clip that carries more, that holds more than 10 bullets. There you go. So, in order for me to get over there, it means the link is in the description. The link is pinned to the chat. Is it in the description in here? Is it in the description in Locals? No, it's not in the description there. I'm going to put in the description now. Let's remedy that. All right, it's there now. If you refresh, you might have to refresh if you're watching on Rumble. It's there. It's pinned in Rumble. It's pinned on YouTube. It's in the description in YouTube. It's in the description in Rumble. We're gonna all head on over to Locals. Head on over to Locals. I will see you all there shortly. Tomorrow, I plan on being on Eric Hunley. I'll probably be restreaming it, and that's my chance to interact with you all and do my interacting. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be interacting. So look for that. You'll get a link for that also on Locals at goodlogic.locals.com. While you're here, please make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment, all that other good stuff. Drop a comment. And yeah, lab meat is they, them, not for you, not for you. And do not eat the bugs. I'll see you on Locals in 2 minutes. 2.5. 2.5 minutes. I'm going to see you over on Locals. Get over there. Click the link. Join us. We have a good time. Join. Goodlogic.locals.com. Click the link pinned or in the description to join the live stream that's starting up with the after party show in less than 2 minutes. The rest of you, good night. Godspeed.